Welcome back to part 3 of my ranking Rookie of the Year winners since I was born. This part of the list gets a little tricky because none of these players are trash, but none of these players are great either. So it was really difficult for me to find out where I should rank these players because even just these 5 alone, some of them have very similar accolades, and it was hard. Like, what makes this player better than this player? Is it time? Was it what they did on the court? Is it what they could do in the future? So I hope y'all enjoy. Without further ado, let's get it started. At number 15, we have Karl Anthony Towns. In a league that no longer values centers, somehow Big Cat has managed to find a way to stay relevant and a way to stand out. He's a 2-time All-Star, and he's currently averaging 22 points and 12 rebounds a game. Now, while he might not have as many accolades as some of the other players on this list, he's lived up to his promise, and he looks to continue the resurgence of the big man in the NBA. He beat out 3 future All-Stars to win Rookie of the Year: Devin Booker, D'Angelo Russell, and Kristaps Porzingis. And now that he's teamed up with Russell, they'll look to bring back that 1-2 power punch of the guard-center combos of yesteryear. At number 14, it's a player that I personally struggle with where to place him because he didn't even play that long, but the time he did play, it was incredible. Brandon Roy was out of the league by the time he was 30 years old, but before that, he was a 3-time All-Star, and he helped lead the Trailblazers to their first playoff appearance in 5 years. Now, if we go back to his rookie year, he was always injury-plagued. He only played in 57 games, which is the second fewest of any Rookie of the Year winner, and by the end of his 5th year, he was retired. He did look to come back with the Timberwolves, but he only played in 5 games. Now, the reason he's ranked so high is because his time in the league was astonishing. The late, great Kobe Bryant even praised him, saying he was the hardest player to guard in the West. Brandon Roy is just another what-if story in a long line of NBA what-if stories. Number 13, we have the old school Chevy himself, Elton Brand. Now, Elton Brand's career can be broken up into 2 halves: before the Achilles injury and after the Achilles injury. Before the Achilles injury, Elton Brand was a guaranteed 20 and 10, and he was a beast on the offensive boards. He won co-Rookie of the Year with Steve Francis, and he looked to be the next staple in the Bulls dynasty. But unfortunately, the Bulls thought it'd be better to get Tyson Chandler and Brian Skinner, so they traded him to the LA Clippers. With the Clippers, however, Brand did get selected to an All-Star game, making him the first Clipper since Danny Manning to do so. In his next few seasons with the Clippers, Brand managed to maintain his numbers, but the Clippers stayed struggling. In 2006, however, he completely exploded, averaging a career-high 25 points a game, and this became his second All-Star year. After posting a modest 20 the next season, he suffered an Achilles injury, and he was never the same offensive behemoth that he had been in years prior. He did manage to play 8 more years, being a productive member of some good teams, including the Philadelphia team that took the Big 3 to 7 games. Although he might not be a Hall of Famer, for those of us who remember those fun Clippers teams and the gritty, hard-nosed players of the mid-early 2000s, you know that Elton Brand was similar to an old-school Chevy. He was gritty, determined, hard-working, and he was tough. At number 12, we have Amar'e Stoudemire. Stoudemire was one of the most athletic big men of all time. He could rebound, he could block your shot, and he was most likely going to dunk on you. He was the perfect fit for Steve Nash in Phoenix and Carmelo Anthony in New York. In his rookie year, he beat out Hall of Famer Yao Ming and former All-Star Caron Butler to win the award. And that year, he also became the first player drafted out of high school to win the award. Despite having knee problems for the majority of his career, he still managed to average 19 points and 8 rebounds a game. When Steve Nash first came to Phoenix, him and Stoudemire developed a pick and roll that many would describe as being similar to Stockton and Malone, but it was in the 7-second offense where he thrived. After leaving the Suns, he went to the Knicks, where he was sidelined a lot due to injuries, but still managed to make an All-Star team and get an All-NBA selection. Most of Stats' dominance came from his athleticism, and when that left him, he still managed to be a productive member of his teams. While he's not as highly regarded as some of the other players on this list, he was still a dominant player, and his longevity of all-star play is why he deserves this number 12 spot. Now, number 11 might be a little controversial because I'm sure everyone was just expecting him to make the top 10, but we have half man, half amazing, also known as Vince Carter. Vince Carter is a former slam dunk champion, an 8-time All-Star, made 2 All-NBA teams, and he played for 8 teams in 22 years, making him the longest tenured NBA player ever. In his 22 years, he never won an MVP, he never made it to the finals, and he never even made an All-NBA first team. But he was exciting to watch, and he could score. In his rookie year, he beat out Paul Pierce to win the award, and he was basically the face of a whole country's basketball franchise for decades, even after he left. He was can't-miss TV. If Vince Carter was playing, you knew you needed to watch. During his time with Toronto and New Jersey, he was a scoring machine. However, it wouldn't be until 2009 with the Orlando Magic that he'd make his first and only conference final. The following years, he would be a productive member of a few different teams, leaving highlights wherever he went, but nothing like his early days. The reason I don't have him in my top 10 is because although he does have longevity, he never won any outstanding individual accolades, and he was never able to get his team to win a championship. I appreciate y'all checking out the video. Make sure you check back in for the top 10, and also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this has been Ice, and I'm out.